The massive screens at Earth's Space Command Center displayed humanity's greatest achievement yet, the first human-made faster-than-light ship, the ESS Pioneer, gliding smoothly into orbit around Mars. Commander James Walker stood watching with his arms crossed, a small smile playing on his weathered face. After 30 years of service in the Earth Defense Force, he was finally seeing humanity reach for the stars. FTL drive functioning at optimal levels, reported the technician at the main console. Colony ships are ready for their first jump to Proxima Centauri. 20 years of building colonies on Mars and the Moon had prepared humanity for this moment. Earth had united like never before, pooling resources and knowledge to reach beyond their solar system. The red plains of Mars now housed over 1 million colonists in massive domed cities, while Luna Base had become humanity's gateway to space. But humanity wasn't alone in watching this historic moment. High above Earth's atmosphere, cloaked ships of the Star Empire monitored everything. Grand Counselor Xeth observed the primitive species with growing concern. His crystalline eyes narrowed as he reviewed the reports from his science team. These humans, he spoke to his assembled commanders, have progressed too quickly. From their first space flight to FTL travel in less than 2 centuries. It's unprecedented. He waved a long, gray finger at the holographic display. Their unpredictability makes them dangerous. The Council has already voted. They cannot be allowed to spread into the galaxy. On Earth, the celebration was in full swing. The successful FTL test meant humanity could finally reach other star systems. Walker was reviewing the colonization plans when the first alarms blared. Multiple unknown ships appearing near Mars. The radar operator's voice cracked with tension. More signatures detected near Luna Base. Walker rushed to the main display. Massive ships of unfamiliar design were appearing out of nowhere, their sleek forms unlike anything humans had built. Before anyone could react, bright beams of energy lanced out from the alien vessels. The Mars colony's main dome cracked under the assault. Emergency force fields activated, but the attacks were relentless. On Luna, the situation was just as dire. Communication channels filled with distress calls and evacuation orders. "Get me the president," Walker commanded, his voice steady despite the chaos. "And launch our defense fleet. All of it." Earth's response was swift but seemed hopeless against the advanced alien ships. The Star Empire's vessels easily outmaneuvered Earth's best fighters. But something odd caught Walker's attention. The aliens were following rigid, predictable attack patterns. In the midst of the battle, the alien commander's voice boomed across all frequencies, speaking perfect English. "Humans of Earth, this is the Star Empire, acting with the authority of the Galactic Council. Your species has been deemed too unstable for space travel. Submit to quarantine or face extinction." Walker's response was immediate. "Like hell we will." He turned to his staff. "Get me everything we have on their attack patterns, and contact all military commands. Tell them to activate Protocol Omega." Deep beneath the Earth's surface, in bunkers built from decades of paranoid preparation, humanity's secret weapons stirred to life. The aliens might have superior technology, but humans had been preparing for this day ever since they first looked up at the stars and wondered, what if we're not alone, and what if they're not friendly? As the first day of combat drew to a close, the Star Empire believed they had the upper hand. They had damaged key colonies and demonstrated their overwhelming technological superiority. But they had made 3 critical mistakes. They had underestimated humanity's preparation, they had revealed their attack patterns, and most importantly, they had made humanity angry. In his command center, Walker watched the tactical display with grim determination. "Send word to all commands," he ordered. "The gloves come off tomorrow." He looked at the alien ships positioned above Earth, their formations perfect and predictable. "Let's show them why they should have feared our unpredictability." The Earth's fierce retaliation was about to begin, and the Galactic Council had no idea what they had just unleashed. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Commander Walker strode through a facility that officially didn't exist. The massive underground complex hummed with activity as technicians and military personnel rushed to bring decades of secret preparations online. "Show me Project Guardian," Walker ordered as he entered the central control room. The lights dimmed, and a holographic display filled the center of the room. Dr. Anna Wilson, the project's lead scientist, stepped forward with a confident smile. "For 50 years we've been preparing for this day," she said, gesturing to the complex web of data streaming across the display. "Every UFO sighting, every strange signal from space, we used them all to build this." The display showed hundreds of satellites that had been hidden in plain sight, disguised as space junk. But these weren't ordinary satellites. Each one housed a quantum AI system specifically designed to analyze and counter alien technology. "The Star Empire thinks they caught us unprepared," Dr. Wilson continued. "They have no idea that we've been studying their probe signals for decades. Every time they scanned Earth, we learned more about their technology." In orbit, the alien fleet continued their methodical attack patterns. Their ships moved with perfect precision, following battle strategies refined over thousands of years. But that precision was about to become their greatest weakness. "Launch Project Guardian," Walker commanded. Across Earth, hidden launch sites activated. What appeared to be debris and abandoned spacecraft suddenly came to life. The quantum AI systems connected, forming a vast defense network that could adapt faster than any conventional computer. On the bridge of his flagship, Grand Counselor Seth received alarming reports. "Impossible," he muttered, watching as his perfect formations began to fail. Somehow, the primitive human defenses were anticipating their every move. Back on Earth, Walker watched with satisfaction as the alien fleet's perfect formations began to break apart. The Guardian Eye wasn't just predicting their moves. It was learning and adapting with every passing second. "Their technology is more advanced," Dr. Wilson explained, "but it's rigid. They've been the strongest for so long, they'd stopped innovating. Their battle computers can't handle opponents who don't follow their rules." The next wave of Earth's defense revealed another surprise. Modified fighter jets launched from hidden bases, their hulls coated with materials reverse-engineered from crashed alien probes. The Star Empire's sensors couldn't lock onto them properly. "We look primitive on the surface," Walker said to his staff, "because that's what we wanted them to see. Humanity learned long ago that looking weak can be an advantage." In space, Earth's fighters engaged the alien fleet. Where the Star Empire's ships moved in precise, predictable patterns, Earth's vessels seemed to move randomly. The alien targeting systems, designed to predict logical battle maneuvers, couldn't handle human pilots who deliberately flew in ways that made no tactical sense. "Their entire military doctrine is based on efficiency and logic," Dr. Wilson observed. "They never considered that sometimes the best move is the one that makes no sense at all." A junior officer rushed into the command center. "Sir, we're receiving reports from Luna Base. The aliens' ground forces are retreating. Our primitive projectile weapons are penetrating their energy shields." Walker nodded grimly. Another advantage of appearing primitive, the enemy never expected simple bullets to be coated with materials designed to disrupt their shield frequencies. In his flagship, Seth watched in growing horror as his fleet's perfect formation crumbled in the face of seemingly chaotic human attacks. "How?" he demanded. "How can they be countering technologies they shouldn't even understand?" The answer was simple, though the Star Empire would take time to understand it. Humanity had turned their greatest perceived weakness, their paranoia and unpredictability, into their greatest strength. While the galaxy saw them as primitive newcomers, humans had been quietly preparing for war since they first looked up at the stars. As the first day of real combat ended, Walker sent a message to all Earth forces. They wanted to contain us because they feared what we might become. Now let's show them why they were right to be afraid. The next phase of Earth's retaliation was about to begin, and the Star Empire was about to learn that looking primitive didn't mean being primitive at all. Captain Maria Torres sat in the cockpit of her stealth fighter, watching the massive alien fleet through her enhanced display. Unlike traditional military vessels, her ship looked like it had been cobbled together from spare parts. That was exactly what she wanted the enemy to think. "All squadron leaders, report in," she commanded, her voice steady. One by one, the other pilots confirmed they were ready. Each of their ships was a masterpiece of deception, looking primitive on the outside while housing Earth's most advanced technology within. In the Star Empire's flagship, Grand Counselor Seth was growing frustrated. "How are we losing to these primitives?" he demanded, slamming his fist on his command chair. His perfect fleet formation was in shambles, and reports of human victories kept coming in from Mars and Luna. "Sir," one of his officers reported, "we're detecting small ships approaching. They appear to be primitive chemical rockets." Seth smiled for the first time that day. "Finally, a straight-up attack we can deal with. Power up the main guns. Let's show these humans what real space warfare looks like." But Captain Torres and her squadron weren't flying straight at all. As the alien guns targeted them, her ships suddenly split apart, each piece becoming its own smaller fighter. What looked like 30 ships became 90 in an instant. "Remember your training," Torres called to her pilots. "Random attack pattern Chaos 7. Make every move unpredictable. Their targeting computers can't handle what they can't predict." The space around Earth erupted into a spectacular battle. While alien ships moved in perfect formations, human fighters spun and rolled in ways that seemed insane. Pilots flew backward while firing. Some shut down their engines to drift silently. Others deliberately crashed their disposable outer hulls into enemy shields. In the underground command center, Commander Walker watched the battle with pride. "Show me the Guardian Eyes analysis," he ordered. Dr. Wilson brought up a new display showing how the quantum computers were learning and adapting to every alien response. "Their biggest weakness is their own advancement," Dr. Wilson explained. "They've relied on their superior technology for so long, they've forgotten how to think outside their programming." In space, Torres led her squadron through a series of maneuvers that looked like complete madness. Her pilots fired weapons that seemed to miss completely, until the shots curved around in impossible arcs, guided by hidden gravity manipulators. "Keep them guessing," Torres shouted as she flew her ship straight through an enemy formation. "Every crazy move forces their computers to waste time calculating new possibilities." The alien fleet's perfect order completely broke down. Their ships, programmed to respond to logical attacks, couldn't handle the chaos of human warfare. Some alien captains tried to adapt, but centuries of rigid training worked against them. "Impossible," Seth shouted as another of his ships reported heavy damage. "Their technology shouldn't be able to do this. Their tactics make no sense." "That's exactly the point," Torres muttered as she led another attack run. Her fighters released clouds of what appeared to be simple metal debris. The aliens ignored it, until the debris suddenly activated, revealing thousands of tiny drones that attached themselves to enemy ships. Within hours, the mighty Star Empire fleet was in retreat. They had lost a third of their ships to what they had dismissed as primitive human vessels. Their remaining ships struggled to maintain any kind of formation as human fighters continued their unpredictable attacks. Commander Walker sent a new message to all Earth forces. "Push them back. Show them that humanity won't just defend. We'll take the fight to their doorstep." As the Star Empire fleet retreated in disarray, Captain Torres and her squadron regrouped for their next attack. The aliens had wanted to contain humanity because they feared what humans might become. Now they were learning that their fears hadn't been nearly strong enough. The counterstrike had succeeded beyond anyone's expectations, but this was just the beginning. Humanity was about to show the galaxy that underestimating Earth had been the Star Empire's greatest mistake. The Galactic Council Chamber was the most secure room in known space, located in a massive space station at the heart of Council territory. Its walls were made of materials that blocked all known forms of surveillance. No unauthorized being had ever entered without permission. Until today. Ambassador Thomas Reed walked calmly through the grand doors, wearing a simple Earth diplomatic uniform. The council members, Representatives of the galaxy's most powerful species stared in shock at the human who had somehow entered their sacred chamber. "Impossible," shouted one of the council members, their crystalline form shimmering with anger. "How did this primitive breach our security?" Reed smiled and pulled out a small device from his pocket. "You mean this security?" He pressed a button, and suddenly the chamber's hidden defense systems shut down. The same security that uses coding we decrypted months ago. Grand Counselor Seth, who had rushed back from the failed attack on Earth, rose from his seat in fury. "Guards, remove this human at once." "Your guards won't come," Reed said calmly. "They're busy watching a loop in their security feeds." "Primitive technology, isn't it?" His smile grew wider. "Just like those primitive ships that drove your fleet away from Earth." The chamber erupted in chaos as council members shouted and demanded explanations. Reed waited patiently until a younger council member, Representative Call, called for order. "Let us hear what the human has to say," Call suggested, his large eyes studying Reed with interest rather than fear. Reed nodded in thanks and pulled out a data crystal, one that matched the council's own technology. "For the past 6 months, we've been monitoring all your communications, your unbreakable encryption." A team of human teenagers cracked it as part of a programming competition. He inserted the crystal into the chamber's central display. Instantly, the room filled with holographic projections showing private council conversations, secret military communications, and classified research data. "You saw us as primitives because we still used chemical rockets and projectile weapons," Reed continued. "You never wondered why a species capable of building quantum computers and AI systems would stick to such basic technology." The council members watched in growing horror as Reed played recording after recording of their secret sessions, including the one where they had voted to attack Earth. "Humans have a saying," Reed said, pacing the chamber slowly. "Never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. You thought we were showing you everything we had. You thought our technology represented our limits." He pressed another button, and the holographs showed Earth's hidden capabilities. The quantum AI network, the advanced stealth systems, the gravity manipulation technology that humans had reverse-engineered from studying alien signals. "We knew you were out there," Reed explained. "We knew you were watching. So we showed you what you wanted to see. A young, primitive species taking its first steps into space. Meanwhile, we prepared. We studied. We adapted." Representative Call leaned forward. "But why maintain this deception? Why not simply announce your true capabilities?" Reed's expression turned serious. "Because history taught us that when advanced civilizations meet less developed ones, it rarely ends well for the less developed civilization. We needed to be sure we could defend ourselves before revealing our true strength." The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just defeated a Star Empire attack. They had outmaneuvered the entire Galactic Council on every level. "So," Reed said, taking a seat at the council table as if he belonged there, "shall we discuss new terms for Earth's relationship with the Galactic Council? As equals this time." Grand Counselor Seth sputtered in rage, but other council members were already nodding. They had just learned that appearances could be deceiving, and that underestimating humanity had been a grave mistake. The diplomatic shock was complete, but this was just the beginning of humanity's emergence onto the galactic stage. The Council was about to learn that humans weren't just good at fighting. They were masters of changing the rules of the game itself. Dr. Anna Wilson stood in the center of the Galactic Council's main research facility, surrounded by the most brilliant alien scientists in the galaxy. Behind her, a team of human engineers was setting up what looked like ordinary Earth equipment. "You claim to have improved our technology?" asked the chief scientist of the Star Empire, his voice dripping with doubt. "Technology we've spent thousands of years perfecting." "Perfecting," Dr. Wilson replied with a smile, "but not improving. That's the difference. You made everything work perfectly within your known rules. We looked for ways to break those rules." She gestured to her team, and they activated their equipment. A holographic display appeared, showing the schematics of a standard Star Empire shield generator. Next to it appeared Earth's modified version. "Your shields are incredibly efficient," Dr. Wilson explained. "They stop 99.9% of energy weapons, but you never considered that someone might use that efficiency against you." She pressed a button, and a small drone flew into the room. It fired what looked like a simple metal pellet at a standard alien shield. Instead of bouncing off, the pellet passed straight through and hit the target behind it. "Impossible," shouted one of the alien scientists. "Our shields are perfect." "Exactly," Dr. Wilson said. "They're so perfect that they have a precise frequency. We designed projectiles that vibrate at exactly the opposite frequency. Your shields don't stop them because they're too efficient. They can't adapt to something that shouldn't exist according to your rules." The alien scientists rushed to their instruments, scanning the human technology with growing amazement. Everything they thought they knew about their own tech was being challenged. In another part of the facility, human engineers were demonstrating how they had modified alien engine designs. "Your drives are amazing," one engineer explained to the gathered aliens. "But you always focused on making them more powerful. We focused on making them more flexible." He showed them a human ship's engine that could switch power modes instantly, something the aliens had thought was impossible. "Sometimes being more efficient isn't as useful as being more adaptable," he explained. Back in the main chamber, Dr. Wilson was revealing humanity's greatest technological achievement. "We took your quantum communication technology and asked a simple question. What if we used it differently?" She activated a device that looked like a simple computer. Instantly, it connected to Earth's Guardian AI network, demonstrating processing power that made the alien supercomputers look primitive. "You used quantum tech for sending messages," she explained. "We used it to build thinking machines that could adapt and evolve. Your computers are faster than ours, but ours can learn and change." The alien scientists watched in stunned silence as Dr. Wilson's team demonstrated one breakthrough after another. Humans hadn't just copied alien technology. They had reimagined it, finding new uses the aliens had never considered. "But how?" the chief scientist finally asked. "How did you advance so quickly?" Dr. Wilson's answer was simple. "Because we had to. Your species had thousands of years to slowly improve your technology. We knew we needed to catch up quickly, so we couldn't afford to follow the same slow, safe path." She showed them more examples. Medical technology that combined alien healing methods with human adaptability, weapons that used the aliens' own defensive systems against them, and communication systems that could evolve to defeat any attempt at interception. "This is just the beginning," Dr. Wilson told the gathered scientists. "We're not here to replace your technology. We're here to help it evolve. Imagine what we could accomplish if we worked together instead of fighting." As the demonstration ended, even the most skeptical alien scientists had to admit that humanity had done the impossible. They had taken technology that had barely changed for centuries and forced it to evolve in ways nobody had thought possible. The tech revolution was changing more than just machines. It was changing how the entire galaxy thought about progress itself, and humanity was leading the way. Representative Call's private meeting chamber was filled with delegates from 15 younger species of the Galactic Council. They had gathered in secret, away from the watchful eyes of the Star Empire, to discuss what many were now calling the human factor. "For too long, we've accepted the Star Empire's rule without question," Call said, his large eyes scanning the gathered representatives. "We believed their way was the only way. But Earth has shown us differently." Ambassador Reed sat quietly in the corner, watching the proceedings. The humans hadn't planned this meeting. It had come from the younger species themselves. A delegate from a newly spacefaring race spoke up. "The Star Empire told us we must develop our technology exactly as they did, step by step, following their rules. But look what the humans achieved by thinking differently." Another representative, their crystalline form glowing with excitement, added, "My people have already begun experimenting with human adaptive technology. We've made more progress in 2 weeks than in the last 10 years. On the main viewing screen, reports from across the galaxy showed the impact of humanity's emergence. Young species were beginning to question the old rules. They were combining their own technologies with human innovations, creating new possibilities the Star Empire had never imagined. The Empire fears this change. Call continued. They fear it because they can't control it. But we know better. We've seen what freedom to innovate can bring. In orbit above them, the Star Empire's patrol ships maintained their perfect formations. But now, those formations looked less like a display of power and more like a sign of inability to adapt. Reed finally spoke up. Earth doesn't want to replace the Star Empire's leadership. We just want to show that there are other ways to progress, different paths to the same goals. The chamber erupted in excited discussion as more representatives shared their experiences. One species had already improved their medical technology by applying human adaptive systems. Another had revolutionized their space travel by combining their traditional drives with Earth's flexible power management. But the Star Empire will resist, warned one of the older delegates. They've already increased their military patrols in our systems. Reed smiled. Those patrols are using the same tactics, the same formations, and the same technology they've used for centuries. Ask yourselves, are they protecting you or trying to contain you? The truth of his words hit home. The Star Empire's perfect, unchanging systems were no longer a sign of advancement. They were a symbol of stagnation. Call raised his hand for attention. I propose we form a new alliance, not to fight the Empire, but to show them a better way. Together with Earth, we can create a galaxy where all species are free to develop in their own way. The vote was unanimous. Within hours, secret channels across the galaxy hummed with news of the alliance. Young species began sharing their innovations, combining their unique perspectives with human adaptability. In his flagship, Grand Counselor Seth received the reports with growing alarm. Half of the younger races have signed technology exchange treaties with Earth, his aide reported, and the other half are expected to follow. Seth slammed his fist on his command console. Don't they understand? Without our guidance, without our rules, there will be chaos. But chaos, as humanity had demonstrated, wasn't always a bad thing. Sometimes it was the birthplace of the greatest innovations. As the new alliance grew stronger, the Star Empire's grip on power continued to weaken. They had spent so long enforcing their perfect order that they had forgotten a crucial truth. True strength comes not from maintaining the old ways, but from being able to adapt to new ones. The galaxy was changing, and not even the mighty Star Empire could stop it. The age of rigid rules and forced conformity was ending, replaced by an era of innovation and freedom to evolve. The final battle wasn't supposed to happen this way. Grand Counselor Seth had gathered the entire Star Empire fleet, over 1,000 ships, for what he planned would be a decisive show of force. But as he stared at his tactical display, he realized he had walked into a trap. Multiple ships appearing from hyperspace. His sensor officer shouted, They're everywhere. Around the Star Empire's perfect formation, ships from Earth and their new allies emerged. Leading the Earth forces, Captain Maria Torres sat in her command chair with a satisfied smile. Remember, she broadcast to all allied ships, fight like humans, be unpredictable. The space around them erupted into the largest battle the galaxy had ever seen. But this wasn't a battle of pure technology anymore. It was a battle of ideas. The Star Empire's ships moved in their traditional, perfect patterns. The Allied fleet, taught by humans, fought with creativity and chaos. In Earth's command center, Commander Walker watched the tactical display with Dr. Wilson and Ambassador Reed at his side. Show me what the combined Guardian AI network can do, he ordered. Dr. Wilson activated the system they had shared with their allies. Quantum computers from a dozen species linked together, each bringing their own unique perspective to the battle. The Star Empire's tactical computers, designed to fight logical battles, were overwhelmed by the combined creativity of multiple species thinking differently. Their formations are breaking. Torres reported as she led another attack run. Her ship, now enhanced with technology from 3 different alien species, moved in ways that should have been impossible. On his flagship, Seth watched in horror as his perfect fleet fell into chaos. Ships from species he had dismissed as primitive were using technology in ways he had never imagined. A medical ship was using healing beams as weapons, reversing their effect. A cargo vessel had turned its gravity manipulators into a weapon that twisted space itself. "This isn't how space combat should be," he shouted. "There are rules, traditions. The rules have changed." Representative Call's voice came over the command channel. His ships, once built to Star Empire specifications, now moved with human unpredictability while carrying weapons developed by other young species. The battle reached its peak when Torres led her squadron straight through what looked like a suicide run at the Star Empire's flagship. Seth smiled, thinking they would break off. No sane commander would continue such an attack. But they didn't break off. At the last second, the human ships split apart, their seemingly primitive hulls revealing advanced technology that combined the best innovations of a dozen species. The flagship's perfect shields, designed to stop standard weapons, were useless against weapons that shouldn't have existed. "All ships, power down your weapons," Seth finally ordered, his voice heavy with defeat. The Star Empire surrenders. The news spread across the galaxy at quantum speed. The unbeatable Star Empire had fallen, not to superior force, but to superior creativity. The age of rigid rules and forced conformity was over. 1 month later, the Galactic Council chamber looked very different. Representatives from all species, young and old, sat as equals. The Star Empire was still there, but as just one voice among many. "We propose a new way forward," Ambassador Reed addressed the council. "Not Earth's way, not the Star Empire's way, but a combination of all our ways. Every species brings something unique to the galaxy. It's time we celebrated those differences instead of forcing everyone to follow the same path." Commander Walker, watching from Earth's command center, smiled as the council voted unanimously to accept the new charter. The document, written jointly by all species, guaranteed the right of each civilization to develop in its own way while sharing innovations with others. "They wanted to contain us because they feared what humanity might become," Dr. Wilson said, standing beside him. "Instead, we showed them what the galaxy could become when we all worked together." The war was over, but humanity's greatest contribution to the galaxy was just beginning. They had shown that true strength comes not from forcing others to follow your path, but from learning to walk many paths together. The new age of the galaxy had begun, and it was more incredible than anyone had imagined.